Imagine your husband whispering, "I love you," while secretly planning to drain your entire empire and leave you penniless. Now, imagine discovering his own mother was the one who handed you the evidence to destroy him. What happens when the woman he betrayed and the woman who raised him team up to orchestrate his total downfall? You won't believe the brutal reality of the trap they set. This didn't just end a marriage, it erased him from existence. Nobody saw this coming. Victoria Sterling stands at the top of the corporate world. She is the CEO of Sterling Industries. Her husband, Julian, is the charming face of the company. Victoria loves him deeply. She trusts him with every secret, every password, and every decision. She ignores the rumors about his late nights. She dismisses the whispers of his secretaries. She believes they have the perfect life. One rainy evening, Victoria returns home early. She hears laughter coming from her private study. She pushes the heavy oak door open slowly. She sees Julian kissing her assistant on her own desk. Her heart shatters into 1,000 pieces. She stays hidden in the shadows. She listens to every word they say. Julian laughs about how easy it is to play his wife. He mocks her intelligence to his mistress. He reveals his plan to drain the company accounts by Friday. He intends to frame Victoria for embezzlement. Victoria feels the cold grip of betrayal. She realizes her entire marriage is a carefully constructed lie. She leaves the house without making a sound. She drives through the rain with tears burning her eyes. She goes to the only place she feels safe, her mother-in-law's estate. Evelyn Sterling Vance is a formidable woman of iron will. She is the true matriarch of the Sterling family. She always despised Julian's arrogance. Victoria walks into the grand foyer. Evelyn sits by the fireplace, drinking tea. She looks at Victoria's tear-stained face. She knows immediately that something is wrong. Victoria falls into a chair, trembling. She tells Evelyn everything about the cheating. She reveals the plan to destroy the company. She expects Evelyn to defend her own son. Instead, Evelyn stands up with a cold, sharp smile. She pours a second cup of tea and places it in front of Victoria. Evelyn whispers that she has been waiting for this exact moment to strike. They look at each other with newfound, dangerous resolve. The hunt for justice begins tonight. Nobody sees this coming. Victoria and Evelyn sit in the dim light of the estate's library. They pull out documents Julian thought were hidden. They realize Julian has been transferring funds into offshore accounts for months. He is using a dummy corporation registered under a fake name. Victoria notices a familiar signature on the shell company's paperwork. It belongs to Julian's most trusted accountant. Victoria smiles grimly because she realizes this accountant is her secret informant. She has kept him on her payroll for years, unbeknownst to her husband. Evelyn calls her high-powered legal team immediately. They start drafting a legal trap that will freeze every single one of Julian's assets. They decide to let Julian think he is winning for just a little longer. They feed him false information about a massive acquisition deal. Julian takes the bait. He feels invincible. He believes he is days away from taking total control. He starts spending money he hasn't even stolen yet. He books a private jet for his mistress. He buys a diamond necklace with company funds. He doesn't notice the silent observers tracking every single transaction. The next morning, Julian struts into the Sterling Industries headquarters. He acts like the king of the world. He gathers the board members for an emergency meeting. He plans to force a vote to remove Victoria as CEO. He enters the boardroom with a confident smirk. He expects to see Victoria humiliated. Instead, he finds the room silent and cold. Victoria sits at the head of the table. Evelyn sits beside her, radiating pure authority. Julian's smile falters, but he regains his composure quickly. He starts his presentation, filled with lies about Victoria's mismanagement. He shows fake charts and doctored bank statements. He points his finger at Victoria, demanding her immediate resignation. Victoria doesn't interrupt him once. She watches him finish with a look of pity. Julian looks around the room, expecting support. He finds only icy stares. He realizes something is terribly wrong when he sees the police officers standing by the exit. The lead detective walks toward him with a thick folder of evidence. Julian screams that this is a mistake. He looks at his mother for help. Evelyn just turns her head away in disgust. He is trapped, but he still has one final, desperate move. Julian lunges for his briefcase, hoping to destroy the original contracts hidden inside. A security guard pins his arms to the table before he can move. Victoria slowly stands up and walks to the projector screen. She clicks a button, and the screen flickers to life. It shows real-time footage of every single offshore transfer Julian made. It reveals the photos of him and his mistress at the private bank. Julian turns pale as the board members gasp in shock. He tries to shout over the murmurs, claiming he was framed by hackers. Victoria laughs, a cold sound that silences the entire room. She produces a signed confession from the accountant Julian thought was his ally. The accountant admits he was actually working for Victoria the entire time. Julian's legs give way, and he collapses into his chair. He realizes he has lost the company, his reputation, and his freedom in less than 10 minutes. The police move forward to secure his hands in metal cuffs. He looks at Evelyn, begging for a mother's mercy. She stands up and leans down to whisper in his ear. She tells him that she chose the family legacy over his greed a long time ago. Julian is dragged out of the building by the authorities. The press swarms the lobby, cameras flashing as they capture his fall from grace. Victoria watches from the window as her husband is pushed into a squad car. She feels a heavy weight lifting from her chest. Evelyn steps up beside her and places a hand on her shoulder. They have successfully protected the company from his incompetence. However, a new problem emerges immediately. The news of the arrest causes the stock prices to plummet violently. Investors begin to panic and pull their money out of the firm. Victoria receives an urgent call from the bank. They demand full repayment of the loans Julian secretly took out in her name. The company is teetering on the edge of total collapse. Victoria realizes that winning the battle against Julian was only the first step. Now, she and Evelyn must fight to keep the entire empire from burning to the ground. Victoria and Evelyn face a mountain of debt. The media labels them the bankrupt billionaires. The public believes the company is finished. Victoria refuses to surrender. She gathers the loyal employees in the main lobby. She speaks with calm, unwavering confidence. She reveals a hidden patent the company has been developing for 3 years. This technology changes how the world uses clean energy. She leaks the information to the global market to spark immediate interest. The reaction is instantaneous. Investors rush back to the table within hours. The stock price climbs higher than it ever was during Julian's time. Meanwhile, Julian sits in a cold jail cell. He has no money, no connections, and no legal team left to defend him. His mistress disappears the moment he loses his fortune. He watches a television news report from the prison common room. He sees Victoria and Evelyn on stage, being honored for saving the company. They look powerful, united, and unstoppable. He realizes he is completely alone. Victoria stands on the stage at the annual Sterling Gala. She looks radiant and free. Evelyn stands proudly at her side, no longer just a mother-in-law, but a true partner. They have transformed a tragedy into a massive triumph. Victoria looks directly into the camera during her closing speech. She tells the world that real power is not given, it is taken. She thanks the person who betrayed her, because that betrayal forced her to become stronger. The story ends with Victoria and Evelyn toasting to their future. They are now the most feared and respected business duo in the world. Julian is left behind in the dark, forgotten by the industry he tried to destroy. Justice is served, but the real victory is the unbreakable bond the two women formed in the fire of betrayal. They didn't just survive, they built a legacy that will last for generations.